So far, most of us, I think, are very disappointed that the Pope has made it clear that this meeting isn't really a serious attempt to get to grips with the incredible criminal scandal that is encircling the Church and encircling the Vatican. They're talking about raising awareness, they're talking about training people in this issue. These are things that people really should not and do not need training in. The rape and abuse of children, the rape and abuse of any person, a vulnerable adult, is a vile criminal act. Everybody knows that wherever they're from in the world. And we know that the Pope, if he really is serious about making change and protecting children in the institution that he leads, then he needs to institute immediate, thorough rules in canon law that if any priest or any religious contravenes that law of abusing a child, they will be permanently excluded from ministry in the Church. Exactly the same should apply to anybody, any bishop, cardinal or pope who covers up these disgusting crimes. They must also be excluded permanently, not moved from one place to another, which is what happens at the moment, not allowed to resign and get a cosy job somewhere else, or not, as happens and has happened in my country, be given money to allow them to flee from one country to another. The only thing that is changing is when there is insurmountable pressure being put on the Pope and on the institution, then they are forced to take some action. But they take the very minimum action that they can. McCarrick was known about as an abuser 20, 30 years ago. Everybody knew. We know that the Pope knew about his background. I don't think there's any coincidence that he was expelled from the priesthood just a matter of days before this summit, so-called, here in Rome. In Chile last year, I was there when the Pope made the disgusting remarks about the victims in Chile being liars and using very derogatory terms to describe them, even in the face of the evidence. And of course, even Cardinal Sean O'Malley, the president of the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors, even Cardinal Sean had to rebuke the Pope because the Pope had said something that was absolutely outrageous. And of course, again, the Pope had to back down. The world's press, the world's media were watching this event and watching what was going on. He backed down, and of course he ended up inviting some of those victims to the Vatican to kind of make a personal apology. None of these things are happening without pressure from survivors and the pressure coming from our friends, colleagues in the media, who all have an interest in protecting children. And that's why we're here, is to make sure that what happened to us and others doesn't happen to children in the future.